Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to On Time God, where the word of God is never late, but always on time. Hey, I came on just to drop just a little bit of a nugget, nothing too much. But this message is for pastors and pastors specifically. Pastors, I want you to hear something. I need you to hear me really good. It's time for you guys to stop telling your congregation that they're not ready for the meat. You can't feed them any meat because they're still stuck on milk. And I'm here to let you guys know that you need to stop saying that to your congregation. Number one, who's to say they're not ready for the meat? You can't really dictate when your congregation is ready or not ready for meat. And because what a lot of you guys are doing is you're actually stunting your congregation's growth because you won't give them anything to provide them any nutrients. You keep feeding them the same thing over and over and telling them that they're not ready for the meat. When all actuality is that it could be really you. It could be that you're scared to go a little bit deeper with your congregation and you're causing your congregation to be malnutrition. And when a congregation is malnutrition, they can't grow. Just like you have to feed a child and introduce children new food, especially infants, you can't keep them on milk forever. Eventually, you're going to have to introduce new things to them, whether they like it or not. I know a lot of parents, they say, well, I'm going to start introducing my infant to some peas. And then you force that child to eat the peas. Why? Because they need the vegetables. And that's the same thing that the congregation needs. You can't continue to feed them milk and tell them that they're not ready for the meat. Sometimes you're going to have to give it to them whether they want to take it or not. You can't let the congregation suffer, or those that are ready for meat suffer because the rest of the congregation is maybe still on milk, what we like to call it. So I want you to really pay attention to what I'm saying. Gauge your congregation. Sometimes you're going to have to give them that meat. Sometimes you may have to chew it up where it's easy for them to digest. That's going to cause you to get into the word a little bit deeper than maybe what you were doing. And then they're going to be able to digest that food. You also going to want to look at the congregation. You may have to feed a different meal to different members of your flock. You may have to introduce those things to them. Introduce something different than what their palate is accustomed to. It may take them out of their comfort zone, but guess what? They're going to learn how to chew it. They're going to eat it, and they're going to swallow it, just like the babies do. Then you're going to have those members in your congregation that are going to be resistant to it. That's when you're going to have to just let them choke on it. Let that gag reflex kick in. They'll learn how to process the meat. They'll learn how to. So stop doing your congregation a disservice. Stop doing your congregation a disservice. Go on and give them that meat and stop using that excuse that they still stuck on milk.